welcome to my video on how to add a 3D model of your house to your xLights layout. So if you're like me, when you started in xLights, you probably just started dragging and dropping stuff onto the screen, trying to build kind of what your layout looked like. You probably started in 2D mode and maybe eventually you moved to 3D mode because you can get some depth to that. But I didn't really dig into it too much when I started, and just sort of guessed on everything. And so I know this is really kind of close to what my layout's like, but from a perspective, it's not that accurate, and the distances aren't accurate. And totally guessing this is supposed to be an 8-foot snowman, this is an 18-foot tree. Who knows if that perspective is right? And so I started thinking, there has to be ways to make them right, and there is. You can use a ruler. We'll talk about that in a minute. But also I'd seen some video or pictures where people had like 3D renders of their house in here, and I was wondering how they did that. So I started digging into it, and I found a really good video by a guy at Magical Light Shows. This is the video. I'll put a link to it in the description. A guy from Magical Light Shows did this video, Steve P. So it's the first video I've watched of his, but this thing is long. It's like an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes long. And it covers a lot more than just how to put a 3D model of your house in there. It's really for someone who doesn't know how to use xLights layout at all. So I'm going to come at this from the perspective of, you know how to use xLights layout. You know how to move things around, scale things, size things. You know how to navigate around in here pretty well. You just want to get a 3D render of your house in there. You want to make the dimensions accurate. That's the perspective I'm going to come at for this. So let's talk about that. What I found is the best tool to do this is there's a service called Hover.io, and we can go look at this, or Hover.to. And this is for residential, for personal use, it's free. And what it does is it allows you to take photos of your house using your phone and then submit them. They will process them into a 3D model and they'll put them on this website for you. And so you can't do the photos through the website. So like if I come here and I say, try it for free, and then I'm going to say I'm a homeowner, you're actually going to do this. I can't show you this because I don't have the video off my phone, but what you'll do is you'll go on your phone and you'll download the Hover app from the App Store, whether it's Android or iOS, and then you'll go in and you need to create an account. And at this point, I don't have to have done this yet when I'm at this process on the website. I can create the account on the website, but I already have one, so I'm not going to show you those steps. Just create an account, personal use, and I'm going to say I'm a homeowner, and I'm going to create this account. I've already got one, so I'm not going to do that. And then when you get logged in, the first thing you're going to need to do is create your project, but you can't do that through the website. You have to do that through the app. So in the app, go in, create a project. It's going to ask, you're going to come up to a screen in the app that basically just has a plus at the bottom, and you need to click that. That plus is for create project. And when you click that, you're going to pick exterior measurements. If you want to see these steps, you can watch that Magical Light Show video. The first like 5 or 7 minutes of it does have some more details on these steps on how you actually create the account. But let's just make the assumption that you get the idea. You need to download this app. You need to create an account. It's for personal use. And then when you go in to create your project, you're creating a project for external measurements. That's very important. And then you're going to put in your address, you're going to give the property a name, and then it's going to take you to a screen. This app is really nice about just walking you through, hey, you need to take some photos. There's 8 photos you have to take. Front center, front right, front left, right side, left side, back center, back left, back right. You need to take those photos of your house using the app. It'll upload, it really walks you through it really well. So I couldn't do any better if I just literally took a video of it. And when you take those, you'll submit them. And this is kind of interesting because what'll happen is you'll submit the project request through the app, and it will it'll process behind the scenes, but it takes hours. So I don't know if this is something that's just happening through some cloud service and it's automatic and it processes it, or if there's legitimately a person that has to do some work to create this 3D model. But I submitted mine at like 4 p.m. and then I got a notification in the app, I'd say 9 or 10 o'clock the next morning. So it was overnight. And so again, I don't know if there's a person involved in that or not, but it's really surprising how long it takes to do it. But when you get that notification, you can either in the app or you can on the website, you can come here to your account, log in, and you'll see your projects. You notice on the website, I don't have a button for creating a new project. You can't do it on the website because you have to upload the photos to the app. But I did this house here, and when it's ready, you'll come in here, you'll see your photos. When it's ready, you'll see Open 3D Model. And so this is really cool. I can come in here now, and I can see a 3D render. I'll explain what that chat's for here in a second. I can see a 3D render of my house. And so now initially they're going to have some textures applied to it that they figured out from the photos. The textures meaning the type of shingles, the type of brick, the type of stone, the color of the woodwork and the doors and things like that. You can change it. It's not really that critical, I think, to the success of using a 3D model as your layout in xLights. If you want to, you can change it so you can get this, not at all what this video is about, but I can come in here and say, yeah, I want to change the roof. I'm just going to click that and I'm going to pick a different kind of roof. And it's going to change that. Again, I don't care. I'm not going to mess with that. Just make it look close. The one thing I did change is I did change the color of the brick to red brick instead of it had a gray or a yellow brick or something. And so, I just wanted it to be kind of close. This is close enough. Play around with this as much as you want as far as changing those textures. And then what you're going to do is you're going to ask them to send you the SketchUp file. So there's really two options. You can have them send you the OBJ or you can have them send you the SketchUp. The SketchUp, in my opinion, is better because it'll come with the textures and it'll look just like this. But all you do is you come into the, well, let me go back. So I'm in this screen. I come back to this screen and I hit this little chat. And I actually will show you my conversation with them. I did this at 2 o'clock in the morning. So last night, the reason I'm doing this video now is because I like to do this when the stuff is fresh in my mind. I did this at 2 o'clock in the morning. I came out to the chat and I thought, I'm just gonna submit the request and somebody will read it in the morning or whatever. And so it pops up and it says, hey there, how can we help you? And I said, talk to customer support, because before that, it doesn't show you in this chat, but it had a few options. I couldn't type anything yet. And so one of them was talk to customer support. So I clicked that and like 10 seconds later, then it says, great, we'll connect you. And then 10 seconds later, hi, my name is Nikki. And if this is a bot, it's like the best bot I've ever interacted with. I feel like it's a real person. And so I said, okay, here's my job ID. I'm trying to create a 3D layout for a synchronized Christmas light show. I've been told by people that have done this before that I could just message you and you could send me the SketchUp file or both within 30 seconds. Yes, of course. Good news. Here's the file, and they provide me the SketchUp file. So that's awesome, and the fact that they'll do this for free is great. And so now I've got this SketchUp file that I can download, and then a chat, whatever, and it's great. So amazing. I hadn't rated that yet. So I'm done with Hover. And so now I have my SketchUp file, and I think the SketchUp file is better. They'll send you an OBJ if you want it, but I think the SketchUp file is better because when you import it into xLights, you'll have the textures and everything in it. If you do the OBJ, it'll be more of a gray template of your house, I think. And so it's not, there would be more work to do. Now, however, because we did the SketchUp file, we do have to have an OBJ to put this into xLights. So we need to use SketchUp to do that. We can do it through the SketchUp online application. And so I'm going to come over to SketchUp and actually I can show you. You're going to use a free account initially. I will say that we do have to do a 7-day trial to get the OBJ file, but you can come out here and try it for free. Start a free trial. You create an account. you know, kind of describe whatever. I think on here I put that I was in, it doesn't matter what you put, but I think I put I was on like interior design or something like that. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I'll say interior design, specialization, residential, click continue. This is just in case they wanted to come and like hit you up with a salesperson to get, you know, money out of you or something. Sorry, my glasses are screwed up. So yeah, just click a couple things, whatever, click continue. You put in some contact information, and eventually you're going to get into SketchUp. And so I'm going to come here, I'm going to go create new. Let's see, did I do create new? Open from device. Sorry, we have an SKP file, so I'm going to do open from device, and I'm going to find that SKP file. Sorry, where did I put this? Shows 3D models. So I saved all my stuff into a folder called 3D models. So and that's what I did, is I came here and I opened up the SKP file that was sent to me by the Hover people. And so when you do that, you will, actually let's just do, I don't want to open that same one from that same spot since I'm using that from the one that I've already started on. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to create a folder just for us to mess around in. Put it in there. Okay, so I'm going to open up that SKP file that I downloaded. Hit open. And this is exactly what you'll see when you're in here. Now SketchUp is a little weird. This is the first time I'd ever used it, so I'll just say that click and drag. I don't know how you do that. Maybe there's a way to do it holding shift or something. I've used several programs like this, but for me, clicking the center mouse wheel and then scroll and then dragging the mouse around is how we do this. And so that's what I'm doing there. I don't need to do much here in SketchUp, really. And so, but you can zoom out, zoom in, just play around with it, get comfortable with how you zoom in. It's kind of like xLights, where when you're zooming out and in, where your mouse is important. It controls the perspective of where you zoom out and zoom in. That's what xLights does as well. So it's very much like that, but to pivot it like this, to pan it like this, whatever this is called, you just click the center mouse wheel to do that. So, you know, again, how much do you care if these pillars are the right color or something? But it is pretty easy to change that. So I can come in, the paint bucket tool is going to be your most useful item. So I'm going to come here to the select tool, and I'm just going to click those. I'm going to hit the paint bucket. I'm going to pick a color that's close to whatever's actually on my house, like this dark brown, and I'm just going to paint those. You can spend as much as or as little effort on doing this as you want. And maybe there's ways to do it in bulk. I don't know, don't care. I did very minimal editing on mine just to get the color on some of these things to be right. And then I'm gonna select something else. I think I didn't change too much. Oh, I changed the brick color. Yes, the brick is kind of wrong, I think. No, it's okay. No, it's all fine, whatever. I mean, I can change it if I want to. This is good enough. Like, if you want to mess around with that, that's fine. Now, there are two things I wanted to do to this that weren't really covered by the video. And I'll show you what my issue was. In my layout, like if we look at a, let's look at Google Maps. Google Maps is is useful for this. And I'm gonna go to my house. So this is my house. And I don't know if you know this already. One thing I'll show you. See, I've got these two trees here in my front yard. They're a problem. They cover up pieces of the front of my house. And so I don't know if you knew this, but you can hold shift and click and drag in Google Maps and you can see some perspective. And so I like this because I can start to get an idea of how bad those trees are going to cover up my house. But this is kind of what I want to be able to do in xLights. I want the trees to show up as objects in xLights, not just as, you know, pictures like this, or as a cylinder in a circle or something like that. Now, if I go to Street View, drop that, again, I can see, you can tell this is an issue. Like, I need it. It will be really useful to me to have those trees be represented in my SketchUp. So the way we're going to do that is pretty simple. I'm going to go to SketchUp. There's only two things I did in SketchUp to make this happen, to get kind of the effect I wanted. Is I'm going to come here, and I'm going to, oops, sorry. Again, I'm not good with this, so I have to keep readjusting stuff. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to go to 3D Warehouse, and I'm going to search for tree. And my hope is somebody has modeled a tree for me, and I can find one that looks kind of similar to my trees. I think this one's not bad. Actually, this tree's not bad at all. That is kind of what my trees look like. So I'm going to pick that. And then I'm going to, there, I'm going to download it. I think this might be the one I did use. Of course, it put it in the wrong spot, which is fine. Okay, let's set it down. And again, I don't know the tricks in let's select. I don't know the tricks in SketchUp to really do this better, or you know, more the right way, whatever that means. But if I can get this tree kind of close, so I'm going to pick it. I'm going to use the select tool to select it. I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to click it and drag it down. I'm just going to try to get it close. And you know, the browser's complaining because actually I have SketchUp open already, and I've got another 3D modeling thing open. So it's understandable that the browser might be moving a little slow. And then I'm going to, let's see if I can Control-C, Control-V this. Yep. I need two of these trees. Again, just fumbled through this. I don't know the exact steps, but once you get the tree in there, you can you can click it using the select tool, and you can move it using the move tool. And again, I've got to click somewhere to like drop it, kind of. Okay, so it's dropped. Back to the select tool. It's back. Okay, so what I was saying was that this is getting closer. I have the trees in there, and I'm kind of guessing where they go. You know, I'd like them to be in the right spots. I also have a lot of other stuff going on in my yard. I've got that driveway and the sidewalks and everything. And if we go look at Google Maps, we see, let me exit out of this view. I really want to represent everything up in this section. So from that corner to include this entire thing, because I want the driveways. Now, I don't care if the sidewalk and the driveway and the gates and the landscaping are actual physical objects, or if they're just there so I can use them to line stuff up in xLights. The trees actually block the visibility of things. I need them to be real objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically screen cap the vertical view of my house in Google Maps. I'm going to screen cap this, and it's going to look like this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to save that as an image, and then I'm going to go into SketchUp. And again, I don't know the exact perfect way to do this, but this is how I did it. So I'm going to go to the little hamburger, go to import, go to my device. I'm going to find that aerial image. It's going to make it a lot easier if your aerial image is taken, you know, perpendicular or parallel to the angle of your house. If you have to rotate it, the rotate tool in SketchUp is terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double click here and get it to set the image down. And now that I've got that blue border, it's fine. It's in. Now it's rotated the wrong way. I cannot, when the performance is like this, the rotate tool is terrible. So I'm going to use the scale tool, because all I really need to do is invert this. So I'm going to use the scale tool, And we're going to use a scale tool anyways. What I need to do is get this underneath my house and have the edges of everything map up with exactly where this house is. So I'm just going to grab this corner and I'm going to drag it way over here to like flip to mirror the image. So I'm going to click that and drag it back here. That's going to get it in the right direction at least. So now I see the driveway and everything is correct. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back into pointer mode. If I stay in scale mode, it's going to start clicking and dragging and being messy. I'm going to pan and get a top-down perspective. And I'm just going to move that picture around until it sits, move it and scale it until it sits right underneath my house. So I have to like click and drag on the pan thing because of how bad this performance is. And every now and then it catches up. Okay, so this is the perspective I want right there. So I'm looking straight down, just like the Google Maps thing. Now I'm going to go back, I'm going to click that picture. Okay, I'm going to go back to scale. And I'm just going to be clicking and dragging these little boxes until it sits right where it needs to. And it's going to be tedious. I mean, it'll be better for you. It's going to be tedious because of the video causing the issues. Okay, so let's see. I'm just trying to get the pieces where they go. That corner is this corner right here. So I'll bring this one down. When I did this the first time without recording the video, it was very responsive. So I think that it's a lot easier to do it if you're not trying to record the video. I'll pause the video and I'm going to get this lined up and then I'll cut back in. Maybe it'll be better. Okay, maybe that'll help. I did a full reboot. So this has just been a catastrophe. Let's get it started again. All right, so we have this picture in here. I have taken the trees, clicked them, moved them about where they go, take that top down view, so it's actually not quite where they go. So let's go ahead and finish that. I'm going to click this one. Again, the clicking and moving is really janky in this tool, so I'm just, usually if you're at a perspective is straight down, when I click and drag, it's going to try to move it like horizontally. So I'm pretty close to what I want. So I'm going to click and drag him over a little bit. Right there. Click. Okay. And then I'm going to click this one. It's pretty close to where I want it. I'm just going to leave it there. Let me change perspective again. I actually want to scale the trees up just a little bit because they're in the right spot, but they're really not quite big enough. So I've got this one selected. Now I'm going to use the scale tool. And I can just sort of click and drag and make it bigger in different dimensions. Yeah, it needs to be a bit bigger, so I'm going to click that one. There we go. Just gotta be real careful which ones you click and drag, and let's make it a little taller. Let me zoom out. Same, this one needs to be bigger. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want to get it as close as I can. Because again, the point of putting these trees in here is so that when I put my props in place and my lights on it and everything, I can actually tell what's going to be blocked by the trees from the optimal viewing location. It's making taller. Nope. Don't know what that was. Okay. Wait. Do not know why it's doing that. Undo. Let's just take this side one here. Don't know what's up with that one. Let's try this one. rotate around and make them thicker the other direction as well. Because they're probably pretty flat based off the scaling I've done. Yeah, see how thin that is. So let's grab this one. Grab this one. Same for this other tree. Scale. Drag around. Getting close. All right. Okay, so I think I'm getting pretty close. So now I'm gonna zoom out and do that top-down view again. Looks like they cover up the trees underneath on the Google Maps thing. Everything else is lined up. So this is what I want. So okay, and I know that took a while. I'll probably time-lapse that a bunch, or I'll just jump and say, like, this video is not about how to use SketchUp. It's that once you make your SketchUp look the way you want it to, what do you have to do to get that into xLights? Okay, so the next step is we need to export this as an OBJ. Now you can go, I'm gonna click save real quick just so I don't lose this. And I'm gonna click my pointer, my select tool instead of scale so I don't click and do anything else weird. Okay, it's saved, we're good. I can go here and I can go to export and I can pick OBJ, but, oh, well, there's no but. I already have an account. If you don't have a paid account, then, or a 7-day trial, it's going to ask, it's basically going to say, hey, upgrade if you want to be able to do the export. It's not doing that for me because I'm in the middle of a 7-day trial. So this is the point where you're going to have to upgrade your account to the 7-day trial. So take care of that, then come back here, go to export, go to OBJ, and then I didn't change anything on this, and just click export. It's going to send this to the cloud service to be able to do the export, and it's going to notify you. And if I recall, it took a while. It took hours, an hour maybe, before it showed up, or maybe it was a half hour. It's not a fast process. So whenever you get the notification, I think it's to your email. Whenever you get that notification, then you can come back here and you'll be able to download the OBJ file. So I've already done that. And you know, I put mine in my 3D models folder under my shows folder, and so I called it here house 3D hover export.obj.zip, and then I extracted that into this folder, so I have my .obj file. This is what you need for xLights. Okay, so let's jump into xLights then. I had everything open, but I don't anymore. I did a full reboot. Okay, so we're going to jump into xLights. I'm going to take you to a backup of my layout and show us how we bring this in and sort of set dimensions using the ruler. And then after that, it's just, you know, whatever your layout looks like. Let's skip this time. Layout. Okay, so this is my old layout. So what I need to do, and again, I just guessed when I placed everything in here, so I have no clue what these distances are. Like, I just was totally guessing, didn't know what the ruler was. But we need to do two things. So basically, we need to bring in the OBJ, that's going to bring the model in, and we need to bring the ruler in so that we can set a known dimension. And so let's bring in the OBJ first, or let's bring in the, let's bring in the mesh. So we're going to bring in a mesh and a ruler. So I'm going to bring in the mesh first, and I'm going to come over here to the OBJ file for the mesh. And I'm going to find that OBJ that I saved. So it's under shows, under 3D models, under here, that's my OBJ file. So that just brings in exactly what we just built, right? Now this is just an object. When I'm over here on my 3D objects tab, I can pick this and I can find its little arrow, which is kind of hard, but it's in there. It's actually inside it. I can find that little arrow and I can move it using the little arrow. So it's just kind of tricky because of how it's actually inside the model. So, but I find the arrow. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. I want to get it kind of lined up with the plane. So I'm going to click the top one, drag it up, and I like to have it like kind of right there where they're kind of the plane and the ground and the 3D model are kind of touching. Looks good. Yeah, that's what I want right there. And then I'm happy with its positioning otherwise. Actually, let's move it back closer to the back of that. Okay, something like that. All right. Now you have two options. If you're doing this for the first time and you don't have props all over your layout, then leave it like this. However, if you notice, I have a layout, and clearly my guesstimate on the layout and everything versus the default size of the model that was brought in are not the same. The model's smaller. So I probably should try to scale this to get it closer to this, so when I have to move all these things to fit on the correct locations, I don't have to move them as far. So I'm going to click in here to the scale mode, and I'm going to scale it quite a bit. Let me get the setting. How do I make it so the scale locks them? That's the one thing I don't know. Find the key I will do that. Where did I lose my... Hold on. Lost my handle. There we go. Hold control. There we go. Back then. Oh, I need to have to click first and then hold shift. Okay, so I'm just making it bigger so I can get it closer to the shape that I had before. That'll just make it a lot easier when I'm moving stuff around later. All right, so let's do that again. I'm just kind of guessing and getting closer. It's pretty... I need to scoot way back still. Let's do that. Closer? My guesses are actually pretty close. Alright, let's get it scooted back. This happens to you guys, but sometimes xLights just stops letting me select things. I can select something else and go back to it. Yeah, my guesses weren't too bad. That's close enough. I'm gonna have to move everything anyways, so. Okay, I'm gonna have to move everything anyway, so I think that's close enough. All right, so now I need to use the ruler to establish a distance. And once I do that, then I can start resizing all my components. And this video, again, it's not about how to resize things. I'll do a few of them and we'll move a few things, but effectively the ruler is the last step and then we're done. And then we can start benefiting from the perspective of having the trees in the right spot and how it blocks sections of the house. So let's check this out. So I'm going to go here to add obj. I'm going to select ruler this time. That brings a ruler in, and now I'm going to move this ruler to something that I know the width of it. So I'm going to pick it. Of course, ruler, pick it, match ruler, there we go. Now I'm going to move the ruler over. I know that this window is 3 feet wide. So you pick something you know the width of, move them over, get it as close as you can, and then move the ends to the spot that you know. That you okay, yeah, move the ends where they go. So I'm going to click that end. I'm going to move it just right kind of in the middle of that white frame, because I know the 3 feet is a little bit outside of the inside of the window. And then I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to move it kind of there. And then I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to change the units to inches. And I want to say the real length of this is 36. So now I've set what the dimension is using the ruler. So now I can go into my props and I can actually use real measurements for things. Like I know that these candy canes, I have to switch back over to models before I can select them. But I know that this candy cane is 15 inches wide by 36 inches tall. So I can go to its dimensions. Its width will be 15 and its height will be 36. And I'm going to set its depth at 1. Doesn't really matter. The depth isn't that important. Notice that it's actually perspective-wise, it's pretty good. It's correct. And so let's go try something where I know the size of it, like Clyde, the snowman. Snowman is 8 feet tall. So I can click on Clyde. I can go to dimensions. His height's going to be 96. And his width, I have no idea. 1 inch there. His width, we'll say, will be 45. I'd have to go out and measure it, but that perspective looks about right. So now I can start getting things sort of set. This tree is about 18 feet tall. 18 times 12, who knows? $116 inches. So I'm going to set that. The width of that is 96. The star on top is 36 inches tall. And the width is 36. And I do need to move it up a bit because it's elevated a bit. So that's kind of it. I mean, that's the point of bringing the ruler in, bringing the 3D model in. So now I can move my props exactly where they need to be. And this video is not about that. You know, if you want to watch videos on how to move things, you know, most of this is just kind of tedious work to be done now. But I can save some time. If I pick that one that I fixed, that candy cane, and then I hold control and I pick the other candy canes, as long as that one is the one that has the selector on it, I can go to all these other candy canes. And then I can go to right click, go to resize, go to match size. Now all the candy canes are the right size. So you just learn stuff like that. You know, I'm going to pick this, I'm going to drag it forward because that's where it actually is. All these pea stakes I'm going to have to move. So it's just tedious work to be done. But now I can come down here and I can say, interesting, like this is the spot where people usually park to watch my show. So like, actually it's a little bit more over here. It's more like this. So, and actually my mega tree in reality is where are the other selectors for this? Colored lines, so I can't see it. There we go. The megatree is more over like this. There we go. So I can get from the perspective of the person sitting in their car and say, oh, well, I need to trim that tree, or next year I need to move the megatree, because they're going to see this. They're sitting in the ideal spot. That tree is starting to cover up the top of the megatree. This tree here is really covering up this entire section of the house. So like, I have a roof outline here. I have a snowflake right here now, just below the branches of the tree, because of course I don't want to put something there, waste pixels if you can't see it. But yeah, that's really the benefit of doing this. I think it's pretty useful. Once you get everything moved, it's going to work really well. It's just going to be kind of tedious to move everything. So it'd be better if you started a new layout, or if you're fresh into this, it'd be better to get your 3D model and all that ruler and stuff actually set up ahead of time. So once you're done, you know, I'm actually in the progress of doing this on my other layout that has a lot of other stuff in it for next year. And so, but I just thought that I'd make this video while I had it fresh on my mind. And obviously you can see we had some issues. The SketchUp tool is pretty sketchy as far as performance goes. You need to sign up for a 7-day trial for that. The Hover tool is awesome. And so their app is really good. Their service is really good. So I can't believe they do all that for free. And then once you've got, you know, Hover, you ask Hover to kick you a SketchUp file out. You take your SketchUp into Sketch, you modify that, you put your trees in, you put in whatever is important to have an actual 3D model. You put that in, because again, I've got bushes here. I'm not worried about the bushes. I've got bushes there. You know, there's things, you know, the landscaping, the sidewalk. There is an elevation change right here in reality. I don't really care about that much. That's not going to impact my show or the perspective of the way people look at things. So, so I'm not modeling those in SketchUp, but the trees are definitely an important thing to model. So, you know, get the hang of that and dealing with the, you know, the jankiness of the SketchUp tool. But once you get that, you kick it out into an OBJ. So you sign up for your 7-day trial, kick it out to an OBJ, and then you bring it in here. You bring the OBJ and you move it, scale it to where it needs to be. Then you bring in the ruler and you establish a known width. You know, most front doors are 30 inches, 31 inches. That window's 36 inches. There's things where you just know what they are. And so you use that to set the ruler, and then you set everything else off of that. And that means now I can go and say, okay, well, what is the distance between, you know, this tree that was over here and the next tree? I can use a tape measure to go out and actually measure it in the yard, and then I can come in here and I can make sure the dimensions are actually that far apart, so I can have that perspective be better. It's stuff like that that'll make your show better. So anyways, hope this was helpful. I'm gonna piece all these different videos together to find something that's useful. This video to just be about SketchUp and Hover and bringing it into xLights. And so I'm going to cut some stuff out, probably cut out some of the problems we had, and then we'll get a good video out of it, I think. So let me know what you think. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll see y'all next time.